Bro, you already know how crazy it is being like a startup entrepreneur. Now think about throwing 75 hard on top of that.
But you see, I don't even work out.
I know. Yeah,
I'm like, nah, bro.
But even if you had time,
I still wouldn't work out.
Yeah, you
bro.
still wouldn't work
That's
out.
not my thing.
Yeah.
It was crazy when I was an athlete, though, like in high school. That's like all I did.
What?
Is work
out? No way.
Dude, I worked out so much. It was like all, bro. I basically have had 2 obsessions, like football and then cooking. And like when it was football, it was every day.
But you were in the gym too, like not just practicing your skill set?
Well, we had it as a gym class too. It's like it was our class. We had gym lifting, so by that I was lifting 5 days a week.
Oh yeah.
But then we would lift after school.
Yeah, for practice too, right?
Yeah.
What position you play?
I played safety, corner. I mean, throughout my life, bro, like literally played everything. Bro.
Really?
All of them.
Well, that's how most football players are. But by the time you get to high school,
if I had to
they figure out what size you're gonna be and how fast your feet are, and they usually put you somewhere specific.
If I had to say like what I would, I'd be a D-back.
D-back
for sure.
Yeah, I think that my twin brother, same thing. He was a savage too. I ain't gonna lie.
Bro, that's my favorite because it's like
I don't know why he loved it. I've never played D-back, but he loved
one-on-one.
D-back.
I like that.
Or safety, free safety.
Yeah, but bro, I also played like school in the country, and so everyone just ran the ball all
Got
game.
it.
So we didn't pass enough. So that
Really?
in that aspect, it would get a little boring at times.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a lot of passing.
I don't know. I would think the opposite because we when we were in high school anyway, we were in like a rural, suburban type area, like somewhere between rural and urban. Definitely not urban. And so a lot of country teams we would play, a lot of more rural teams, but generally those are usually like a bunch of white teams. You know what I mean? But the white teams, they got the quarterbacks. You know?
That is true,
I don't know. Yeah.
Bro, that was different here though.
That's so stereotypical, but it's true, man.
It is.
But for real though, stereotypes exist for a reason.
Bro.
Like people try to pretend like that shit is not true, but it's true.
Bro, all like I get what I totally understand what you're saying. Like, bro, especially I'm like at least in Missouri, bro, like all the where the good teams are gonna like coming out of, bro.
It's a fact.
They win state every year.
Like, yo, they're from over there. Yeah.
It's all the city schools, bro.
Really?
Oh, bro, always.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
But what's a bigger sport here, football or basketball? Because I know basketball pumps. Like, you guys have Jason Tatum. You know what I mean? You got Vashawn over here.
Well, honestly, to my knowledge, I'd say they're about even.
Really?
Personally, yeah.
Yeah, you guys got
but
some.
I didn't, bro. Like my school was a football school for sure.
Got it.
Like, bro, everyone came to all the games, and like basketball was, no one would go.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, that shit would be. Yeah, that's depressing.
Yeah, bro. I never played. I was never on the team, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like I'd want to play, but I'm like I'd rather just train for football.
I'd rather not. I'll go play pickup because ain't nobody gonna come to the games.
Right, and I was like, no, I just want to train for football. Like that's all. That's what I want to do.
So what's the heaviest you ever been? Like how much you weigh now?
Bro, I weigh like 155 now. It's like the lightest I've ever weighed.
Really?
That's probably what I weighed in like when I was like a sophomore.
That's crazy.
But I never got big, bro. Like I had like big legs. I was strong, but I was up top. Never.
Yeah, slim.
That's why I covered myself in tattoos, bro.
Bro, that's not really why I did. In fact, now I kind of regret. I don't want to say I regret, but like now I'm like, sometimes I wish I didn't have all the tattoos on my chest and my stomach and everything because I have the physique. Like now I have the physique.
Now you can't see it.
And you can't see nothing. Like if I take my shirt off, it doesn't even look like I got abs. And it's like, bro, I work out so much.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
like, dang. I kind of sabotage myself.
It's like, bro, from the outside looking in, I'm like, I appreciate people that live that lifestyle, but it's like,
yeah. Well, it takes a different.
It's just never like pulled me in.
You know what's crazy though? Well, that one, it's surprising because, well, it's not surprising, but I feel like if you did it, you would be like me. You would just be taking it all the way overboard because just knowing you in the short time that I've known you, it seems like we're similar in the sense that anything you do, you're about to be like, all right, shoot, if I'm going to do it, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I've frequently observed, which kind of like blows my mind, is I think it's undeniable when you see somebody with, a physique that you could tell that they earned. you can't help but be like, man, that takes a lot of discipline. They must spend a lot of time in the gym. They got to learn delayed gratification. There's a lot of things that like living a healthy lifestyle have given me that has nothing to do with my physique, like sense of self-worth, confidence, delayed gratification, all these things. And for me, like that's where change in my life actually began. Like I was in prison. I didn't decide I was going to change my life. I just started drinking water instead of Kool-Aid, and like it just snowballed into, for real.
Yeah.
Hey, people hear that and they think I'm kidding. That's dead ass where it started. And just one good habit snowballed into more and more and more, and then I became who I am now. But so sometimes I see people. In fact, we know somebody similar actually. Just that's a recent acquaintance. But like they have the physique, and I'm like, oh, I want to believe that because you have all the discipline, the patience, the work ethic to achieve that, then it's going to transfer into every other area of your life, because that's what it did for me. But sometimes I see people, and that's all they have is like a physique, and ain't nothing else going. It's like, man, how do you not transfer? Like with you, if you started working out, I know for a fact that the work ethic I see you take into the Biscuit Joint would transfer over into the gym.
Bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, it's weird. Like, I don't know. Like I said, like I had two loves, bro. It's literally football, and then after football, it was cooking.
Cooking, yeah.
But it's like, so in my mind, that's just like my version of their dedication.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I just have always put like, I'm like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think a big changing thing was when football ended.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go play college or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like when sometimes people choose to stop playing, and sometimes you don't have a choice.
100%. Yeah, sometimes you don't make the team at whatever level
or
you're
it's
at.
like you're a senior and you graduate, and then you're like, dang.
And nobody wants you on the team.
Yeah, then you can't go play anywhere else. And I remember looking back, like having this moment, like, did I really try my hardest?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I didn't.
Nah. Were you smoking weed and stuff?
No, I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke probably, I think I was 19 or 20.
Got it.
So it's just like,
you just didn't try.
I was bullshitting myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember I was like had this moment. I'm like, whatever it is next, because there wasn't anything at that point. I'm going ham.
Yeah.
And then when it was cooking, bro, it was like, it was just like,
yeah, dude. When I hear you talk about being in the kitchen and like, just the dynamic and what you're trying to do with Biscuit Joint, it fires me up. Like I'm like, oh yeah, all right, let's go. It's game time.
Bro,
but,
I appreciate that.
Yo, but for real, it's I think that, and I don't know, like, okay, so you're relatively new at this, at least from my knowledge. I don't think this is your first business, right, Biscuit Joint?
Yeah.
So what I was just pointing out is like how somebody can have a lot of focus, a lot of passion, a lot of drive, discipline, and patience in one area. But I've seen that most people actually struggle to like transfer it into other areas of their life. Yeah, like you have a daughter, like going hard in dad lane like that, or going hard in whatever the role is. Yeah, have you thought about that at all yet? And how's that going? Do you think that drive and that passion is transferable, or is it unrealistic? Is it too early in the journey?
I think it's transferable for sure. I mean, I definitely see it's like, I feel like like my homie Luke always tells me, it's like how you do anything is how you do everything.
Facts.
So it's like,
facts.
Which I could say, like, while I say that, if I'm being completely honest, I struggle with that.
Yeah.
Especially since starting the business. And that's something that's...
Well, that's why I asked.
And that's something that's really been weighing on me.
Yeah.
Like, on the outside, like, people will be like, how are things? I'm like, business is great.
Yeah.
And they're like, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. But it's like, definitely, like, now, like, that break we took, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh, boy.
Needed
like,
it?
I was, bro, like...
Needed it.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bad. Bro.
People don't know.
Bro, bad.
I know, because I was here every day before you opened.
Bro,
when you was there every day.
Bro, I was gone.
Yeah.
I didn't even come in, bro. I'm like, I'm gone. I had it, but like when I came back.
Focused.
Bro, I was like,
yeah.
And that's why I do those breaks too, but like, it's definitely like I was just saying, like, and what you were saying, if it's transferable, and like someone asked me today, I was like, so that I can manage the food, I can manage the business. Business is doing great, but it's like Especially there's times where it's harder to see Scout at times.
Yeah.
And like that weighs heavy on me.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been like my job in general has always been kind of like a strain on all of my relationships, my friends, my family, like whoever it is. I miss out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What's crazy is like, it's like while I want to go to their stuff, like I want to be at work and I want to be like, I'm dedicated to it.
Fact.
And it's like, it's a hard thing to explain to people.
Yeah.
Which luckily most of the people around me completely understand, where it's like, so I've been fortunate in aspect, but I think over time I'll learn how to manage it all and be able to transfer it better.
Yeah.
It's just like right now, it's like I'm just in there.
Got to be 100%
like, you
focused.
see me?
Yeah. I got a few thoughts on this. So one is, you know, my mentor, with the way that he explains balance, because like a lot of people don't understand what it takes to build something from scratch. Like it takes everything. Like
it's crazy.
It's not just the hours you're open. Like you're here, you guys close at 2. You're here until 6
bro.
every day. And then you're back here at 6 a.m. in the morning, come and getting coffee before you guys even open to, you know, so I see it and it takes everything almost, you know, 7 days a week for, you know, a lot of times until you at least get a groove. But anyway, and on the internet, you know, and then people who don't understand, they like to talk about balance. They'll be like, oh, man, don't you ever take a break or don't you ever take a vacation? And the best description of balance that I heard was from my mentor. He was like, man, balance, you have to stretch. When you want to achieve balance, it's impossible to achieve balance, to do anything great and achieve balance on a 24-hour cycle. So what you have to do is stretch the time horizon out, stretch it over 30 years or 40 years. And then you have, for 5 years, you focus 100% on your business. And then for the next 5 years, you focus 100% on letting loose. And then for the next 5 years, you're 100% dad and husband. And over the course of the long time horizon, you've achieved balance. But it's impossible on a day-to-day basis if you want to do anything great. So that's why I asked that. But then also, something that I'm 9 months in. How long are you in?
October 21st, so
you're
like
about
2.5, 3 months.
Ooh, my boy's cooking already too.
Bruh.
So I'm like 9 months in, and I'm like, this is something that I'm actively working on a lot, and it's something that I've been working on. Is trying to be, you know, as much as I give my team and I give my customers, I want to give Grace that too, and I want to give myself that too. And what got me thinking about it was like I was listening to a podcast with Eric Thomas. You know who that is? The hip hop preacher. That's what he goes by.
I don't think so.
Anyway, this dude's like he was saying how he was giving a motivational talk to a group of 7-figure earners, and he was like, you know, you guys are, you know, basically 7-figure earners here, but like, what does it look like to be a 7-figure husband? What does it look like to be a 7-figure father? He's like, you guys come in and you're Superman at work, but you go home and you're Clark Kent. Bro. You're not giving your kids Superman, you know? And I was like, ooh, man, how can I achieve that, you know?
Dude, and bro, because like, I feel like I had a moment where, like, bro, it's crazy that you said that, like, specifically COVID, that's like what taught me that, because I was furloughed. So I was 19 until furlough, I'm more just finding basically all my validation in cooking. That's like, as long as I was crushing it at work, like that's really all I care
That's
about.
who you were. Just like being an
athlete.
Sometimes athletes struggle with that.
Right. And when he took that, when that was gone, I would literally have my, bro, like I have zero, like there's nothing there. There's nothing to offer. And like at the time, if I'm being completely honest, like I've always been a good dad, but I could have been being way better at that moment, if I'm being honest. And like that was like, I had that moment. It's like, what does all this matter if like you don't have these things in the row? Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, something we talk about in the men's group often is like, it's almost like an anchor concept that every meeting it comes up a little bit, but like we explained it in the beginning, so now when I reference it, they know what I'm talking about. But we kind of like came to a collective agreement that like most men are going to play 5 roles throughout the course of their life: husband, father, teammate, friend, and man. Right. And teammate is like the teammate, like your career, like the teammate you are at your job or your business, but also in your community. And so anyway, and the man is like just what you do for yourself. So I was explaining to the guys, I'm like, man, we've all seen or heard of these celebrities that like they reach the pinnacle of success. They're, you know, mega wealthy or whatever, but their wife wants a divorce. Or,
like, so you think, well, you think,
or like they're
it
the
looks
top,
that way.
they're the top of their game, but their kids hate them. They don't even know who they are, right?
Right.
And so I think of each one of these roles as like buckets, right? And so when I see that, I'm like, man, that person was pouring everything they had and making these daily deposits in their career bucket, but they didn't make any deposits in their husband bucket. And so the career bucket is full, but their husband bucket's empty. And so a concept that helps me a lot that I've been using is like, every day, can I make little deposits in each one of these buckets? You know, like, what would I look like as a father? Well, like, how can I practice showing up like a good caretaker today? And then I'm not married, but like I want to be married someday. So like, what would that look like? How can I practice showing up as a good husband today? And it's like little tiny things, but I pour most of my energy into this bucket. They don't all have to get filled proportionately, but as long as I'm making daily deposits in each one, then inevitably when one gets full, most of them are going to be close to the top. Yeah. That's at least how I've been thinking about it. And it's helping me a lot. Cause like I used to be like, well, if I can't spend an hour with Grace, then, you know, then fuck it. I'm just gonna, you know,
keep working.
But the 15 minutes, I can still check the, you know, the box and be like, man, I at least made a little bit. So that concept's been helping me a lot, and I'm still working on it. But yeah, I figured I'd bring it up to see what you thought.
No, I completely agree, and it's something that I've like I said, I've always just poured into food.
One bucket, yeah, one bucket
only.
I know.
And it's like while I admire that about myself, and it's something I'm proud of, because I think having that level of dedication isn't like normal. Yeah, it's like it's something I'm proud of.
That's a fact. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like, which is crazy. Like from a young age, I like have always seen these like I'm obsessed with Kobe Bryant, bro.
Bro, me too.
Right, bro.
Like
and
he's
the Mamba mentality.
Yeah,
bro.
yes.
And like I've like taken that so literally my whole life since I've like learned about what it is.
Dang, that's
like,
fire.
Because I feel that way, bro. Like I like especially cooking. Like there's plenty of people in the city that cook better than me or just as good or whatever. Like, I don't even really care.
It's all subjective.
Like, we all cook good food. Yeah, and it's like so literally we all order from the same people. We have the same farmers. Yeah, we all like have like. We all email Preston. Yeah. We all talk to the same guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? So what's the difference is like, I mean, like working harder than the next person, being more consistent, focusing on small details,
on the details.
Like standards. And like that stuff goes a long way. But it's like, so while I'm proud that I can put that much dedication into other things, if I'm being completely honest, that while I've done that, it's been at the sacrifice of
some other shit.
people or other things in my life that at times I'm like I'll even have the thought, I'm like, oh, I should go do this. But like I'm gonna make these biscuits.
But I'm gonna make these biscuits.
And I'm like, dang, bro. And I've like always been that way. Yeah. And it's like,
it's cool. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, but also, like, I've always thought about it this way, too. Like, you know, Vanessa Bryant, like, do you think when Kobe was like, yo, I'm going to go back to the gym and get some shots up, do you think she was nagging at him? I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, you make a really good point.
So it's like, what's the price of, so like when you want to be great?
I know. Listen, I'm just as big of a fan. He in my mind, there's nobody greater. Like that's my guy. I was obsessed. I had the 8 on my wall when I was a kid. Like my whole room was purple and yellow. But you bring up a good point because maybe at the time she was like, yeah, you go get those free throws in. But then my man, look at tragic.
But look what he was doing when he.
I know, but he gave everything to the game.
I understand.
And then said just the smallest chance that it could happen, it happened, and my man died, and he didn't really get to shift gears.
I know, and it's like, you know, probably if he could have went back and decided, he probably would
make. No, I think he would make the same decision.
Like,
I really do. I really do.
He's like, no.
Yo, he was a dog. Like there was, bro.
No, so it's like, man, it's so much more important to me to be a family guy and do all these things, and be a great dad and all that. Truly, it is. But it's like at this point, it's like I feel like for me to be the best version of myself, put myself in a position to be the dad I want. Like
Yeah.
I can't do that where I'm at right now.
You really can't.
Like I can't.
Yeah.
And it's like I've also grew up in a house where, I mean, my parents,
Yeah.
they worked a lot. And it's like
Yeah.
there was times where, it would be hard where I'd be like, man, I wish they were here at this game and they'd be in Paris or wherever. And it's like maybe sometimes I would feel some type of way about it. But
Yeah.
looking now,
Yeah.
it's like the Biscuit Joint is like a product of their sacrifices that they've made
Yeah.
throughout my life. And they knew why they were doing it the whole time.
Yeah. You didn't.
And I had no clue.
You didn't have the perspective.
But when the time came,
yeah.
not only them, but my dad's mentor who's watched me since I was a kid grow up.
Yeah.
And then another investor who's known me as I was a kid, they've been watching, like they've been seeing, they see my dedication, they see all that. And it's like, looking back, I'm so like thankful that they did those things.
Yeah.
Even knowing that I didn't grasp it at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they knew, like,
Yeah.
it makes sense now.
I know it really does. I'm like infinitely curious about, like, I mean, we're all clueless, right? Like we all, like, and I'm just trying to figure out like how to live the best, like how to live the best life. You know what I mean? Like I don't know the answers. I really don't. I'm trying, and I know there's a lot of, like, me and you are younger guys, both like young, in the entrepreneur space, but also young, relatively speaking. And I know there's some people that, especially within our community, that probably look to both of us and be like, oh man, those guys are doing it, and I would love to be able to set a good example, but it's hard. It's so hard.
I feel like it's refreshing hearing people be like, I don't like,
no
like
idea.
I've told you, like, and I've told people, so it's like like how the Biscuit Joint happened so like organically and fast, but basically it got to the point where I'm like, I'm opening this thing.
Well, how did it happen? Like, how did you think to just do biscuits? You were just like,
so bro, it's crazy. So
you were just smoking a blunt.
No, bro.
He said,
no, bro,
hey, yo, this shit would be fire.
No, bro, I'm telling you, it was so random. So we've been doing dinner at the loft for a couple years now, right?
Yeah.
And we were about to open a restaurant on Olive. It was going to be named Scouts, and it was going to
have been fire,
bro. And it was going to be like, bro, it was a big project.
Yeah.
It was a big project.
Yeah.
And that has been like accumulating over a long time.
Yeah.
And then it was like about to happen. And then there was like run-ins with the city. I got frustrated. I was like I'm not waiting. Like I need to like get going into this. Like, why am I just sitting around like waiting to get a job or waiting for someone to hit me up or whatever?
Yeah.
And we had this business that was kind of bubbling already. So I was looking for a space to start like doing our own pop-ups.
Yeah.
Because we had done 3 at Work and Leisure on Locust.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I don't know how I still don't know these places.
Yeah, well, anyways, it's like right up there. And we
Yeah.
sold out 3 months in a row. So the beginning of 2023.
Yeah.
So I was like, but we like weren't making money.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if we have a proof of concept, like why are we waiting? So I was looking for a space.
Why weren't you making money? Because of what you had to pay to rent it or something?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he was giving us a deal too.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I also like, at the time I like to pay people well. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, especially when they're like really helping it all happen.
Yeah.
And also there's 2 other people that run the whole thing with me. So it's like we split it 3 ways as well already.
And pay people well.
And pay people well and
Yeah.
pay the venue. And
Yeah.
it's like, it was just
You're
frustrating.
like, wow, this was fun.
Yeah. But like most of what we did was travel to people's houses. But I'm like, if they didn't have a house that was big enough to fit their party, we couldn't go because we had nowhere for them to come.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking for. And then one day I went to pick up Scout from my dad's, and he was showing her pictures, and he's like scrolling, right? And he scrolls past the picture of that. And I was like, where is that? And he's like, it's right up the street, right? And I was like, for real? I'm like, that's perfect.
For real?
I was like, it's perfect. And
Yeah.
he was like, do you want me to hit the guy up? He like knew the agent, right?
Yeah.
So he hits him up. We come see it. And that was the first time I came here.
Yeah.
And then went next door.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm like, this would be perfect for dinner at the loft, but what are we going to do like during the week?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there's a coffee shop next door. So I was like,
Oh, do breakfast.
so I was like, we're definitely going to do breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I've always wanted to own a sandwich shop.
Yeah.
Like it's always been a dream of mine. So I was like, just do sandwiches, like breakfast sandwiches. And
Yeah.
then I just learned this recipe from a friend of mine, Ryan McDonald. And it's like the best biscuit I ever had in my life. It's so good. So I basically took that recipe and just like tweaked it because there was like certain things I wanted it to be like for the Biscuit Joint and just so I could serve everyone. But then that's just kind of how it happened. But like the Biscuit Joint was very much like just to make money for dinner at the loft when it started. And so I thought.
And now it's popping.
And then like over time, the idea grew and the brand and the idea got more solid. And I was like, yo, like I feel like might actually be really like legit. And I started looking up other biscuit companies around the country, and they were like, which I didn't even know they're like really were a thing.
Yeah, of course, man. Everybody loves a buttermilk biscuit, bro.
Yeah, but I didn't know there was like I just didn't really like Biscuit Love and Biscuit Belly. Like I've never heard of them, but I started looking at them. I'm like, these spots are sick. So then I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then once I started like R&D'ing it, I started having so much fun. And I was like, I listened to this podcast throughout the opening process. It was Restaurant Unstoppable. And it was this chef. It was similar. She was about to have this nighttime restaurant, but has a kid and like really was thinking about the lifestyle she wanted for like her life and for her kid. And she's like, I don't want a night style. Like I don't want to work at night and get off at 2 a.m. all the time. And she's like, also just really thought about the type of food she wanted to cook. And it's like what I had the realization is like, I just like to cook food. Like I don't
matter what it is.
I don't care if it's like a dry roasted duck.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. Either way, it's fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
What I enjoy is like talking to the guests, which is why it's wide open.
Yeah.
I like seeing people eat and being like, oh my gosh. And like I enjoy that, or being able to like be the first person someone sees in the morning and have it be an inviting like thing. Cause that can really like make or break your day. Especially like, bro, and I've noticed that here. Yeah. That was like something that really stood out to me the second time I came here, you guys knew my name.
Oh, yeah.
And you knew Scout's name.
Oh, yeah.
And you like...
Scout's a mascot.
Right?
Yeah.
And she has, like, Scout loves coming here, bro. Yeah. And that was from the second time we got here. Yeah. And it's like, that feeling, I was like, I want that next door as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's hospitality, man. And I think the world needs a lot more of it. It really does. It's crazy.
It's the difference.
It's crazy how powerful it could be. Like, it really is. Like, we don't...
Have you read Unreasonable Hospitality?
Bro. I don't even, that book is so good, I don't even tell people about it. Bro. It's so good.
When he's talking about, like, I'm so mad I can't think of the restaurant name off the top of my head.
Which one? 11 Madison Park?
Right.
Yeah,
how they pay your parking,
bro.
So you don't have to get up.
Bro, that book, bro, don't give him all that free game. Don't
bro, so like, I'm like,
but that's the difference. That's the difference. That's it.
The difference.
We like, okay,
because like I was saying earlier, everybody's
good.
Everyone's good. Everyone's food's bomb.
If you're not good, then you're not even in the conversation.
So it's like it's left up to your space and your hospitality.
Yes, 100%.
So it's like, because you can go to pretty much any restaurant and you order something and you're gonna be like, that was tasty.
That was good. Yeah.
Right.
My standard for restaurants for food is like, that shit just better be better than it would have been if I made it.
Right.
And if it is, then cool. I'm cool paying for it. You know what I mean? But that's the only time I'm ever disappointed, when I'm like, man, I could have made that shit at the house.
Right. And like we've talked about it, but Louis, like,
bro, their hospitality
and
is
their food,
top
bro.
notch. Well, their food, exactly. But
it's like what I love about their food is like,
it's good.
It's just straightforward, and you can tell they can cook, bro.
They can cook, and they did everything by scratch.
Here's a roasted chicken, bro, and that thing's, oh, bro.
Free shout out to Louis. But actually, that guy, I think he owns the 2 best restaurants in town.
Because
Wright's Tavern. Have you been?
I haven't been.
So I caught you can't even get in there. Like they open up reservations on the 1st, and people will set alarms for the morning.
Wake up in the middle of the
night.
Wake
up to book, bro. It's crazy. But I did catch. This is the trick for you guys. If you want to get into Wright's, you just call day of, and you say, hey, I got a party for 2 or 4 or whatever. Do you guys have any cancellations? Because they don't update the resi day of. They just leave it.
Back, I'm on the way.
So exactly, yo, for real, that's what happened to us. We called, just happened to call. We're like, screw it, we'll just give them a shout and see. We call, and truthfully, I mean, Grace is, well acquainted with the owner, and you know her family is, and you know we could get in if we wanted to, but we just don't really pull that card. So we called and we're like, hey, we got a party at 4. Do you guys have it? And she's like, if you can come right now, I just need the table back by, you know, and it was like 2 hours from there.
You like, let's go.
I'm like, bet.
Get your coat.
Yeah, bet. Let's go. But you walk in, they take your coat, hang it up for you right there. Like, bro,
that's what I'm like.
And at Louis, they have this guy, what's his name?
Yeah, Jordan.
Jordy, bro. And
Bro,
yo,
I
he's so good. I'm going to be honest. He's so good. When Lau moved here, I brought her there. And I was like,
look at him.
And I was like, you need to be Jordy.
He's a friend of me and my family's,
bro.
He's amazing.
Savage.
Bro.
Savage.
Bro, and it's like, he's just nice.
And just a nice dude. He gives
you
a hug.
And he's knowledgeable.
Yes, he gives you a hug, and he's got all his little, you know, all his little chest in your face, and you're like, oh, okay,
Bro,
Jordy.
like, I know, I'm like.
I love it, bro. But no, you guys execute that really well. Like, I take a lot of pride, a lot. Because that's, if I'm being honest, my job here, like I got Brian, who is, you know, he comes from a corporate coffee background.
Mm-hmm.
His job is to make sure our coffee and everything is situated. My job, and all I focus on is the customer experience. So I take a lot of pride in our hospitality. And truly, I think we compete with anybody. But you guys do an excellent job. And I'm a harsh critic. Like, for real, people come over. And, like, obviously, you guys have a completely different vibe in there. We're in here playing indie pop.
Bro, do you see when I came in this morning?
No.
When I go up in the door, and I was like,
oh
my gosh.
It's a different world.
Bro.
But you're over there playing 90s hip-hop.
Bro, you go over there, we're like,
yeah.
Oh,
but it's a vibe, and you execute it really well. And the hospitality is really, really good, man. But you started to touch on something earlier. You were like, you know, we sort of got into it, and then the idea kind of unfolded. I think that a lot of people, because something I really, really, really do is I like to encourage people to follow their heart. You know, that's the way that I think about it. But like chase passion, you know, chase fulfillment. Like for me, I spent so much time like sitting on a cot in a prison cell, fantasizing about what I would do with my day when I finally got a chance to just do anything I wanted. You know, that like to me, I just literally cannot understand how people live their whole lives doing shit that they don't like doing. Like, you could literally make money doing anything. So, like, you should just at least like what you do. And you're going to spend more time working than you do anything else in your life. Like, bro, so you should enjoy it.
You should love it.
But I think that what keeps people from, like, really diving in and saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do whatever I have to do what I want to do, is they don't have it all figured out from the outset. Like they're like, you know, all right, when I'm ready, I'm gonna do it, right? And what you highlighted is something that I experienced as well. I got into this, and since I've gotten into it, I'm only 9 months in, but since I got into it, the message has changed, the mission has changed, the whole vision has evolved into something. Bro. What I'm trying to build now is completely different than what I thought I was gonna build when I first started. Mm-hmm. It's still similar, but it's completely different. Well, yeah, so bro, isn't it crazy? I mean, you highlighted, it sounded like when you got in, the vision just started evolving, bro, as you went, right?
Yeah, dude. I'm like saying, bro, like we didn't have, like, if I'm being honest, we didn't have a business plan, mm-hmm, bro. When I signed the lease, I didn't have investment money. Yeah, like none of that shit. Bro.
You were just like, yeah, it's gonna work,
bro. Straight up. But and that's what I think. I think a big element of all of it is you gotta like have the balls to go for it
and
too.
Then, but
bro.
then you gotta have the work ethic to back it
and then
up.
You gotta go for it. But like I said earlier, like, are you actually trying your hardest? Yeah. And like, it's a humbling thing to like really like be like, am I, or am I just bullshitting myself? Yeah. And it's like I realized I was bullshitting myself. Yeah. And it's like I'm also like waiting for these things to happen, but it's like, I don't even, like, I always say the term, like, no one's coming to save you. Yeah. Like, nobody's coming. Yeah. So I'm like, which I'm lucky that I come from a family where we all kind of do that. Yeah. Like, we all have our thing that is kind of like non-conventional, and we just like, our parents have very much pushed us to go. And like what you were saying, like, what do you love? Yeah. And then like go that direction. Yeah. And then find the money, like the money that will come. Yeah. But just like work hard and make sure you're being professional and you're getting good at what you do and like practice.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like you have to have the courage to step out and like try stuff.
Yeah. Now I want to touch on your family because I think that's an element for you in your story. But you know, I feel like a lot of people grossly underestimate what it takes to like get to even to the point that you're at and or I'm at, and we're just getting started. Like we're not even close to the point where we want to be, but people grossly underestimate what it takes to get here. And like I've had some local entrepreneurs come and like ask me for like advice or, you know, whatever. And I remember thinking to myself like this, and these people are in it. They're getting ready to go. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm not going to let myself feel disrespected, but it's like this person is grossly unprepared for what they're doing. I just know by the questions that they're asking.
Right.
And they just see what we're doing, and they think that they could do the same thing that we're doing. And this shit is
preparation.
This shit is just easy,
Yeah.
like, and it's crazy. And so, yeah. So that's just one thing that came to my mind when you were saying that is like, not only do you have to be fearless when you decide, like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I might fail. It's fine. You have to be okay with that being a possibility. But then you actually have to back it up, and I think, and then being honest with yourself about how hard are you actually trying, because
like how bad do you actually want it?
Because people will get into it and be like, man, you know, like I hear people who are not doing shit talk about how busy they are, and I'm like,
yeah, right.
What are you talking about?
I'm like, bro, you are not busy.
You are not busy. Like, you played Zelda for 3 hours last night. Like, what are you talking about?
Bro.
I literally haven't even seen my dog in 3 days. Like,
bro.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's not for the faint of heart, bro.
It's really is
and
not.
like, it's that.
But I truly think that anybody can do it. I truly
bro.
think that but it is an endurance sport. This is like, entrepreneurship is not a brains sport. It's not even like a money sport. You know, business is not that complicated. It's very simple.
No.
You make a product, you sell it for a reasonable price. Like, if somebody can help you figure out how much to sell it for.
Yeah.
The hard part is showing up every day. Like, every day, bro.
For real. Like, yeah, dude, like, for real, like, when I told you that break, I'm like, outside of that, since I think I signed in
October, right?
I want to say, like I said, all the planning and stuff started like in April, May.
Mm-hmm.
And from that day, and then it's like I have been inside that place from like 7 a.m. until night.
Yeah, I remember
every
asking
night.
you every day, like, yo,
Bro, every day.
when's it gonna happen? When you gonna open? When you gonna open? I need some sandwiches, bro.
Bro, I'm like, I'm trying, bro.
No, but
even that process, I'm like, showing up to City Hall, and it's like, we've talked about that. I'm like, they're like, room 402. I'm like, all right.
Running around from room to room, and then they're like, go down to room
Just
124.
asking questions.
Yeah. You just have to be willing to do that, man. And I think, you know, honestly, that deters me a lot. That's something that I'm really bad about. Like,
me too.
Like, I'm really bad about it. Yeah. If
I just like Google it. And like, what's crazy is like, I would literally, if I had a question, I'd type it out, like verbatim, and
Google.
start Googling and then research, and then like slowly it would make more sense.
Yeah.
Or it would make like, then it didn't make sense, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's like, luckily I had people to lean on. Like, I have a lot of chef friends. I called a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that's something that I'm kind of like, I've always been quick to ask for help, which I feel like sometimes people aren't that way.
Yeah.
And
you have to be.
Like, I'll call, if I'm confused, I'm calling someone and be like, do you know what this is? Do you know how to do this? Tell me how. What do I do?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I feel like most people are pretty open with the knowledge. There's some people that kind of lock it in and don't want to like tell their secrets or whatever. But for the most part, I feel like most people are like open books.
I don't know.
And there's no secret.
I don't know a single successful person. I think this is a very, very widespread misperception of successful people. I don't know a single successful person that's stingy about helping other people that are actually working.
Like usually they're like, what can I do to help?
They don't want you to waste their time. Like, you can't, if you're not trying, like what we were saying earlier, and everybody knows but you. You're only, if you think you're trying and you're not, You're only fooling yourself because everybody else can see.
Yeah.
Especially people that understand what the work looks like.
Yeah.
But if you're actually working, I don't know a single successful person that if you reached out to them and asked them for help, like even my mentor's worth like almost $1 billion. And that's how this thing started was I'll just reach out and ask him a question on Instagram, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, of course, dude, come over to the house. I'll pull literally. I go over to his house. He pulls out a whiteboard and like starts, you know, like kind of like a Beautiful Mind type shit going on. But the fact, like seeing this person give me 3 hours of their time to break down a business and where I should start and what I should do, like, and I left like, man, like I know there's people that would have paid 10 grand for that meeting, you know, or whatever. And then Jason, another guy, you know how my relationship with Jason started one day. I don't know how I got his number. I met him randomly at one of Luke's events, and I got his number that night, but we didn't talk. And then I got into this project, and I reached out to Jason. I was in the middle of a run. I'm literally running, saying, "Hey Siri, text Jason from Strange Donuts," you know, and I'm voice to texting this message, and I said, "Hey man, you know, dude, you've been in this game a long time. This like food service, like kind of high volume game. Like I don't know what I'm doing. Do you have any positions available? Like I'll come work for you for free just to learn. You know, I just want to shadow you, whatever." And he's like, you know, yo, dog, we can meet anytime. Like he responds.
Yeah, he's so cool.
And now he's kind of like a mentor to me now. He's been helping me a lot. But it's like both of these guys are the two most successful people I know, at least in my immediate circle. Yeah. And the relationship started just because I asked for help, and they don't want nothing in return. They just want to see that you're gonna value their time.
And like he's been to the Biscuit Joint.
I know, I saw him.
Bro, he spent like an hour and a half there, just like seeing what was up and giving advice. And it's like, and we've used some of it, we've implemented it, and it's like it's working.
Well, I think that's
like
what they like.
Won't act.
I think that's what they like. If they give you advice, they want to see that you take the advice and use it.
Because why are you wasting my time?
Exactly.
He's a busy dude.
He's a very busy dude.
So it's like, it means a lot to me that he'd come there, actually like come and show up and be like, like try this, do this. And then like,
especially because you guys just met, right? At the fashion show.
Yeah.
Yo.
Bro, what did we talk for? 45 seconds?
He's such a G.
And he's like, bro, I'll be there on
Monday. I know.
And then, bro, like I'm like getting set up, right? And like, bro, that day we were actually behind. Yeah. Like, obviously the worst time. Yeah. And he's like on my way, and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, yo, button up. Yeah.
He's coming. We gotta look like the
I'm like, bro, like it was just like the worst day for him to come. But even then, he was like, bro, like he knows. He knows. There. He's
been there 100 times, bro.
Bro, and like you gotta lean on those people. He's gotta like.
But I think you gotta do the work first. Like for
absolutely.
people listening to this, if you thinking of that one person, you're like, man, this person, you're a video. There's a lot of creators. There's a lot of people that want to get into their own business, and you know there's somebody that can help you. You have to do everything you can to help yourself first, and then when you get to that point where you get stuck, or when you get to the point where you got some momentum that you created on your own, then reach out.
Yeah,
because if you reach out and you ask somebody whose time is very valuable a dumb question that you could have asked your rubber ducky, you could fucking Google that shit. That's the shit that's when you lose them. That's when you lose them. And that's just, it's a very tricky game.
Yeah, it's like you just gotta be prepared. Like you said, do your work.
Do your work. Do everything you can. Don't ask them dumb questions. Ask them the good stuff.
It's like, are you gonna be ready like for your moment?
Yes.
Because it's like, I feel like it's all about like timing and opportunity. Like all these things happen. Yeah. And then all of a sudden this like moment comes, and then it's like, are you ready? It's like a free throw. Yeah. It's like they've shot thousands. Like that's why like the crowd doesn't bother them.
Doesn't bother them at all.
It's like I've done this 1,000,000 times. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like you just got to be prepared. And it's like if like someone comes to you, if you go to someone asking for help without doing the work, it sounds like you're complaining, or you're like waiting. You want them to save you.
Yeah, you want them to do the work for you that you could easily do. Like, dude, this has happened so much. This is why I'm trying. Yeah. This is great that we're covering it, because there's a lot of people that do this shit. Even people that slide in my DMs. Yeah. Hey, yo, I'm opening a coffee shop. What's the first thing I should do? Motherfucker.
Like, learn how to make some coffee.
You know what? I got a program for $9.99 a month.
Yeah, bro. And it's just also you got to have like what I love about the Biscuit Joint is like I feel like it's authentic. You know
No,
what
it's
I mean?
very authentic. It's
Like
very. It's
when
very,
I
it's
think
you.
yeah, and when I think about other restaurants in the city, there's not a lot like them, and that was very important. Like in anything that's like also you go to any other big city and there's there's smaller restaurants everywhere you look, and I feel like in St. Louis there's all these just huge restaurants, and they're great restaurants, but they're all just like so grand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I feel like the more it's spread out, like it just like diminishes everything. Not in like every case. Obviously, there's like we're lucky in St. Louis to have like great restaurants.
Dude, we have a great food scene here.
Great food scene.
Yeah.
And very like underrated.
Highly underrated.
Yeah.
Highly underrated.
But it's like I was saying earlier, I'm like, I didn't care to like cook that food day to day. I'm like just cooking like badass biscuit sandwiches.
yeah.
And it's
Well, it
like,
doesn't need to be roasted duck, right? Yeah.
it doesn't need to be, but I'm like, if we make perfect biscuits and we cook eggs to order and we make the sausage and we cook the sausage to order, I'm like, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I grew up loving sausage, egg, cheese from McDonald's. Like, straight
Bro.
up. They slap, bro.
Slab.
And then you just make a homemade version of it.
Yeah.
It's
You
like,
need to make a pancake bun. That shit would be fire.
dude, we're working.
We said we're working on some things.
Yeah. We got some things
You have
in the works.
infinite ideas of what you could do with the biscuit,
Bro.
like making a cinnamon bun out of it.
Bro, yeah.
No, but you brought up your family a couple times, and I actually wanted to hear a little bit about, because I know your parents, but I
Yeah.
don't know much. But I think you mentioned you have a sibling that is in like L.A. or
Yeah.
something like that.
Dude,
And
we're spread out all around.
so it seems like everybody in your family really has a thing. Yeah, so tell me about that. Like, tell me about what your family does, and like, where does that come from? Your parents?
It was from my mom. So
Really?
my mom's really the heart of all of it.
Really?
Yeah. So my mom, so we lived in Cedar Rapids, right? And then my parents got divorced.
Yeah.
And then my mom met Jeff, right? My mom's business was still it was already started, but it was just kind of bubbling in Iowa. So then we moved here to kind of like, just like being a bigger market for the business, right?
Yeah.
And then, but my mom has always, like, the business has always been in the house, like entrepreneurial, in the basement or on the top floor of the house. So it's just like what we've seen. And my mom's like having fashion shows at the mall and having fashion shows at this spot and having fashion shows here and doing model search. It's like our whole life, bro. Like walking up to a girl at the gas station and scouting her, like, bro. My whole life.
That's such a random business. Like,
bro, my whole life.
That's so crazy.
Like we've been driving down the highway and they've looked at the person next door or like seen someone else
In the car
and
next
followed
to you?
them
Yeah.
to their house. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is our job. But then like, it's crazy that no bullshit. 2 weeks later, they're in New York City walking on Calvin Klein. Like, I've seen it happen, bro, time and time and time again, bro.
That is crazy.
Like, they meet these like people, just bump into these people and like poop.
So your mom is where you get that whatever it takes.
Yeah, and
mentality.
like go for it. Like, and so that's kind of where it all is rooted. But yeah, my oldest sister, she's actually the creative director for The Masked Singer. I don't know if you've seen that show.
Oh, the TV show.
Yes, she's a
Bro,
creative.
that's actually crazy because my friend was just on that show.
For real?
That's yeah.
So yeah, that's like what she does now, choreography, but she like traveled the world. She's danced with Christina Aguilera, Christina Milian, like done the VMAs, done it all, bro. She's like the background singer. She's in music videos. So she's a dancer. My other sister, she's a hairdresser. So
Yeah.
that's like kind of,
That's
she does
entrepreneurial.
makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she's always been like doing her thing, having different shops, you know. And then
Are you the youngest?
No, Cameron is.
Who's Cameron?
So that's my
hairdresser?
brother.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so then there's me. I'm a chef. So that's kind of my artistic thing. And then there's Cameron.
What does he do?
He makes music. He lives in L.A.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then my youngest sister is actually from my biological father.
Yeah.
But she's in college now. She's going to be a nurse.
Dang. So
But
she's
she-
the only one that's relatively normal.
Yeah, about to make more money than all of us.
Probably.
Bro, by a lot.
Be a nurse practitioner.
Bro, she's about to be big chillin'.
Bro, that's a big misconception that people have about entrepreneurship too. Like I was talking earlier and I'm like, who was I talking to? I was on a call with a friend of mine, and she was asking me about me and Grace, and I'm like, man, to be honest, if I'm being really honest, I probably would have proposed already, but I can't even afford it. Like I was like, I'm poor.
Right,
I'm poor.
People like, oh, I see you balling
exactly.
now, and I'm like, who's balling?
Yeah, people be like, man, yo, Omen's booming. It's like, yeah, it better be because we got to pay the bills this month.
I sure hope so. No, bro.
Nah, but dude, you're low key creative as hell though.
Yeah,
like you have a little bit of a streak. It's funny because I think that's one of Jason from Strange. I think that's his greatest strength. He's creative. He is so creative.
Yeah,
and he weaponizes it, bro. And it's funny because you're like a little young Jason in that sense, where like you focus on biscuits and you focus on the biscuit joint, but even just the concept, like just to have the audacity
like
to do the
spot?
not only because that's cool, like the biscuit, but to do the hip hop. With the rugged look in there, with the pictures you got in there are so random, but they look like they were so intentionally picked. Like,
yeah, bro.
It's like you just whipped it up. Like when you first, I'm gonna be honest, when you first painted it that blue green color, I was like, man, I don't know if I like that color. Like I saw it in the bathroom first, and I'm like, this the color he's painted? Shit looks fire. Like shit looks so,
it came together.
It came together, but it's like it took a lot of creativity, and now you're like. So I've seen you express your creativity in that sense, but then also in like, first of all, you have a cinnamon bun biscuit, which is super creative, and then it's not even just a cinnamon bun; it has this special seasoning on it, or
the butter.
Yeah, well, yeah, but also the 5 spice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then also the cheddar biscuit. You've come in here with like 15 fucking.
Oh yeah, bro.
You know,
and bro, I'm telling you, it's like.
Is everybody in your family creative though?
Yeah, we all have our like own creative thing.
Yeah.
What was creative? It was crazy. Like looking back, you know, like I liked drawing, but I was really bad at it. Yeah. And I couldn't get good. Yeah. And
He's not couldn't get good.
Bro, like straight up, I was bad. I guess this shit. I'm a bad drawer, but like I could see this picture in my head, and there's nothing I could do to get it.
Nothing I could
there's
do.
Nothing
to put
I
it
could
on
do.
Paper. Yeah.
And like, bro, when I started cooking, I could do it.
Oh yeah, like I think I could do this.
Yeah, but honestly, like the creative stuff, like is literally like a gift from God, bro. I swear, because it's like it's so random. I'll wake up from a dream. I'll wake up in the middle of the night. Yeah, and be like, boom, and write it down. No. Yeah, bro. Or I'll be walking through the store and think about it, write it down.
That's some real creative shit,
bro. But it's just like boop, and I'm like, that's why I say it's like, while the part that I feed into it is I love to look in cookbooks. There's a lot of pages that I follow that inspire me. Yeah. So like it comes from that spot for one. Yeah. But it also is like, bro, I'm telling you, it's a gift. It's like, cause it's just like douche.
I am actually, I have a different perspective on it. I think it is a gift, but I also think that it's not unique gift to certain people. Like I think we have a tendency to be like, oh, these people are creative people. But what I actually think is that there's a reason why I carry this notebook everywhere I go. And the reason is because I realized at some point in my life that like sometimes I have really good ideas, but I'll be like, oh, I should do that. And then like later on when I get home, I'll be like, oh, what was that idea? And I lost it. And so the reason I actually, I've been carrying a notebook every single day, everywhere I go for like 7 or 8 years now. Oh, and the reason why I do that is because I realize my memory's fucked up. I don't know if everybody's like that, but I always used to say it was because I did too many drugs. But probably everybody's like this. You have a thought and it just goes, poof. Zip. But now I train myself to have the discipline to stop when I have a really good idea and be like, oh, shoot, let me write that down. And I write it down. And what I actually believe, and I've thought about this for years, I genuinely believe that everybody has great ideas from time to time. But we don't have an infinite number of great ideas. And so if you want to maximize your life, you have to develop the one, self-awareness, but two, the discipline to stop what you're doing and recognize when you have a great idea and take note of it in some capacity. Like for me, the electronic doesn't work. I don't know why, but putting in my notes app on my phone, it just doesn't work. It's like it doesn't even exist. So I have to write it down.
There's something about writing something down.
But it's the same for you. It sounds like, because you're like, I just poof, I wake up from a dream, boom, I write it down. But I think that's the key is like.
Well, that's crazy too, because I guess like now that you mention it, there's like when I'm in a really big pinch, I'll look up something I didn't even think about. It was months ago.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, like I took the time to write it down.
You took the time to write it down.
And then there's times also where I'm like I've thought about cherries and ancho chilies a lot the last 12 hours since I said that out loud.
Yeah.
So I'm like, like what else could I
do with these?
But it's like, and it's weird because I'm like kind of always.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if that's.
You're tinkering in your head.
Yeah. And I'm kind of built that way. Like my mind's always kind of like.
Yeah. Well, for you, it could be like when you say it's a gift from God, like, yeah, I think the natural, the passion about food and like that specific thing. Like some people are mathematicians, some people are, but I think that the way the brain works is sort of universal. And like whether it's math or videography or food, I think that especially the people listening, like if you take the greater concept of recognizing when you have a good fucking idea, write that shit down, and then hold yourself accountable to actually revisiting the list and being like, oh, let's do that. Because man, since I started, my whole life changed since I started doing that. Because I have a good idea, and now I'm just like,
you think about it, and the idea grows.
Yeah. Instead of like you actually acting on 1 out of every 100 of your good ideas, you act on 50 of every 100.
Yeah.
Well, now you're like. You look like a fucking genius, but really you just took the time to write down your good ideas.
And I feel like once you get some like momentum with things, it's like then you can just start building off the last thing and just.
And you
like
realize the value of those ideas.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'd be like, oh, no, you brush it off. But when you actually implement one, and you see the outcome, like Biscuit Joint, like.
Well, even dinner at the loft was the same way, dude.
It was just a random idea.
Dude, me and Brandon it was back when I drank.
Yeah.
And we were honestly just super drunk one night. We were like at my house during COVID, both furloughed, and we were like, man, I really miss cooking for people.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, fuck it, I got a kitchen table. Why aren't we cook for someone? And I made a post I swear, I made a post on my page, 8 people this Friday who wants food. 3-4 courses, whatever it was, right? And then like passed out drunk, woke up in the morning, 8 people hit me up, and I was like, all right. So I sent them my Venmo. They all paid. Yeah. And I text Brandon, I'm like, we're really doing this. Yeah. And he's like, what? Like, okay. So we like got plates, we got all our shit, bro, and we prepped it up and did it. Yeah. And it was good. Well, it probably wasn't good. Like the vibe, but like you said, like when you have to know when you have a good idea. Yeah. Like I was like, yo, this is dope.
This is a good idea.
Especially like, so like we just posted it again and did it again and then did it again.
And constantly improved on it.
And then someone's like, would you come to my house? Or like, sure. And then we go to someone's house. And then when we're at their house, someone's like, well, so would you come to mine? Yeah. And bro, and it's like, doop, 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 doop. And then it's like, we just kept doing them, and then we didn't even have a page. Like this was our personal Instagram. Yeah. So then I'm like, well, let's put a name to it, and I was like, Dinner at the Loft. Yeah. And then made an Instagram and started posting on that, and then when like all the restaurants closed down, obviously there's so many people who were like pissed off about it, and I'm like, I'll come to your house. So we just like mask up, dude, and we'd go to people's houses. We were like this traveling speakeasy restaurant, basically. Yeah. And then obviously it just kept going from there, and it's like now we have like a sign on the door. I'm like, bro, like how did this happen? Like legit, bro.
From a drunk idea.
Bro, just a drunk idea. But like you said, when I noticed the opportunity. And I was like, bro, people are really liking this. Yeah. And at the time, there wasn't like people doing it for real. Yeah. So I was like, let's just keep doing it.
Man, I think one of the things, a skill set that will really enable anybody to be successful is recognizing opportunity when everybody else sees like an obstacle. Like COVID closed down a bunch of restaurants. I would imagine Dinner at the Loft probably boomed.
Bro, boomed.
because
it's like we swiveled to that.
you just pivot. You just pivot. When
So it's like it either killed you or
creates an opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
And like now it's like it changed the food industry crazy because of curbside and to-go food.
I know.
And it's like, which is good and bad. It's
bad.
like for certain, it's bad because people don't have to come into your restaurant.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but it's like.
Bro, you going on DoorDash?
So we're not on DoorDash, but if you go to our website, basically we use Toast.
Got it.
And like through Toast, they have delivery, and it's like they use DoorDash drivers. But we're not like on it.
Man, I had a bad interaction with the local DoorDash. You know how I get, for real. You know how I get.
Bro.
This motherfucker came
here. Bro,
here.
someone took a bite out of my burger once, bro.
Really?
I swear, bro. I was so hungry.
Oh,
and
no.
I opened it, there's a whole bite gone.
I was so hot, bro. No, I was thinking about. Well, I mean, it kind of goes against my concept anyway. Like people hear me talk about this stuff and they think that I'm being, ridiculous. But like, truly, the thing that matters to me most is bringing people in here. Like, I don't really care about the pumping up my business on DoorDash or whatever. But I was open to it. This guy was hounding me, trying to get me to come, meet with him and hear about DoorDash. And he came in, and he came in and we have, he was like disrespectful to Brian, and Brian was like, I was late to the meeting, so I walk in and Brian like called me over and he's like, hey man, I tried talking to this dude and he was kind of rude, and he was like, oh, I'm here to meet Mark, and and so like I was like, I don't know why, but I was like, hey man. And he was like, oh, he got up to like, go shake my hand. And I was like, bro, if you can be disrespectful to my employees, you can get the fuck out. Yeah. I swear I was in a mood. So now I'm like, guess we ain't on DoorDash. Yeah. He was like, fire, you don't need us. Oh, man.
You got to ride for your people, bro.
Like, yeah.
For real.
But I think that's valuable to Brian. I think Brian's seen the whole thing.
Well, dude, I worked at a spot. They made someone leave.
Really?
And they were just being rude.
Yeah.
And they were like, yo, like, you're not about to pull up here to our restaurant and be rude to people that we have work here. Like, for what?
Yeah.
Because you're in a bad mood? Like, you can leave. And they're like, well, you're just lost our business.
Bad. Yeah.
Man, it's like, I'm not saying, like,
I'm not saying it doesn't matter.
You need to come in here and be respectful.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing, especially because it's not like anybody in here is being rude to you. Like, we are trying very hard to make your day better when you come in here, and you have the audacity to be rude. Like, you could go. You could take it down. And I don't know. That's interesting. You're gonna have a situation like that.
That's something I've learned, bro.
I think it's inevitable.
It's been hard for me, bro, because I'm back at house. So
Yeah.
I'm like
back at the house.
There's times where like Sam, bro, she'll be like, Elliot, this is standard practice.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, this is standard practice. And I'm like, but why do they? But it's like, bro, it's just the way.
Yeah, but you know what I learned from that book? That book is the best book. I'm telling you. I literally listened to it and read it.
Yeah.
But he was like, one, he says it in there. My employees come first.
Always.
They come first. I don't really care about none of that. We go to war together every single day, and they come first. And the customer's not always right. That's what he said. And then the other thing was remember the part where he was like, they told him like, hey, don't lean on the table. And he's like, why not? And he's like, well, it's a fine dining. No, you just never lean on the table. Well, why not? And he was like, you got to challenge the status quo. Like that's one of my greatest strengths, I think, is my inexperience, because I don't know the norms. I don't know how it's supposed to go.
You only know,
but I know what makes sense in my head, and if it doesn't make sense in my head, it's not going.
Yeah, bro. Well, I'm so happy, bro. I'm so happy I started in New York. That was my first job.
That's fire.
So I went
New York
there,
City, right?
Yeah, and I went as an intern for culinary. So we have to do a 6-week intern at the end of school to graduate.
Yeah.
And I got to go to New York to this restaurant, the Lambs Club. It was Jeffrey Zakarian's restaurant, if you're familiar with who that is. He's on the Food Network. But anyways, at the time, they were trying to get a star, trying to get a Michelin star, right?
Yeah.
We didn't end up getting one, but it was like a Michelin guide recommended restaurant, like top notch.
Do you know how the Michelin? Yeah, you do, because you read the book.
Yeah,
Isn't
but
that
it's like
crazy?
Yeah, but bro, top notch. This restaurant, right? And it's New York City. It's like I had no reason to be in there, but at that time they want interns, they want people that are green, that are just come in there and work their ass off, and like say yes, chef, do whatever they're asked, and they need that, and I was willing to do it, so I got to like ended up getting a job, but like what I'm thankful for is the standard there was so extremely high, and like you'd get your head torn off if you didn't reach it, which is great. Because then it's like, then I went to another restaurant, and I'm looking around like, what?
And you're the highest operator there,
But I'm not in a cocky way, but the only thing I know was like, just like.
An extremely high standard.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, which made me like at times excel because it's like, it's all I knew. And it's like, eventually you have these skills, and it's like, you can go into a kitchen and you know, like, oh, that dude's legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's some badass cooks in the city and chefs, but it's just like having that standard is like what goes, it'll follow you all the way through.
Yeah.
And it's like, you'll hear me say like, don't do that. It's hack shit.
Yeah.
Like we all like, it's like the ultimate thing to call a chef a hack.
Yeah.
Like we'll lose our shit over that.
Yeah.
But it's like standard, like how clean you work, how like you can work, anyone can dice 20 quarts of onions fast.
Yeah.
Anyone, you could.
Yeah.
But if they're all like different shapes,
I definitely couldn't. But yeah,
no, but you could.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't look good.
Yeah,
and it'd be sloppy, and there'd be shit everywhere, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
So it's like having these standards, and it's like my chef always told me, like, don't worry about dicing it fast, like dice it perfect.
Yeah.
And then one day before you even know, one day you'll be dicing perfect onions fast as shit. Because it's like your body only knows how to dice them perfect.
Yeah.
So it's like that stuff matters.
There's something to be said though about like what you just highlighted, which is like being willing in the early stages of your journey. And I'm not talking about like an entrepreneurial journey, but in the journey of going towards the life that's actually going to be fulfilling for you. Like I wake up every day and I'm excited about what I get to do. I know you're the same.
Yeah.
So on the path toward a life like that, you need to, I don't know of anybody that got there without being willing to humble themselves and do a lot of work for very little to no compensation. And I think that most of people our age, they have this fantasy, or not even a fantasy, but they think that the way that it works is like an equal value exchange. Like if I work extra hard, I'm going to make, I'll work extra hard as long as I get paid for it. And like, I know for me, I started out in my former career anyway. Like I left, I owned my own gym. I walked away from my own gym making, $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 a month, depending on the month. So I'm making like $130,000, $150,000 a year. And I took a job making $30,000 salary.
Yeah.
A massive demotion, a massive pay cut. And I ate shit for like 12 months, working 80 hours a week, making $30,000 just to get to the point where I can make $200,000 in, 18 months later. Right. And so you just highlight, you go as an intern to New York and like talk about how, just how important it is to humble yourself in those early stages. Like I'm sure that leading up to this point, you're not even where you want to be probably financially, like you're just getting started, right? So the work required versus the pay that you get up until this point.
Bro, it's crazy. Like, bro, I've sacrificed so much, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so worth it. But like, it's just like, how do I word it? Like
how much you get paid at that internship?
I was unpaid.
That makes the point perfectly.
I didn't get paid,
that
bro.
Makes the point perfectly.
No, and then
you went out there and got screamed at.
And I think when I got on, it was $14 an hour.
Yeah.
So like, bro, it's like people would be like, "Oh, you're so lucky. You got to move to New York." And I'm like, bro. Like when I first moved there, I was staying on one of my parents' models' couches, right? And it was like my feet hung off the end. There was no AC. There was like, it was hot as shit, dude. I was sleep in my underwear and be soaking sweat all night. All right. And then from there, I moved to Bushwick. And then it's like we had mice running in the walls. Like I could hear mice running in the walls when I'm sleeping, bro.
Yeah.
like broke as shit, eating at bodegas.
Yeah.
Like
Chopped cheese.
bro, chopped cheese.
You don't know nothing about that.
Bro, let me get a chopped cheese. Bro, facts. And it's like, bro, but like honestly, having the time of my life.
Yeah.
Like when I look back, it was like the greatest time of my life.
That's the thing, man.
But it's like, do you think I'm out here thriving?
No.
Bro, and it's like those 2 years when I was there, I missed Thanksgiving both years. I missed Christmas both years. Missed every birthday, bro. I like was out there just working,
grinding.
working. And then then you move home, same thing, working.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's an extreme amount. It's like it's so worth it.
I
But
think
it's
people
like
are
the
scared
level,
of that part, but they don't realize that's the best part.
It's like you gotta go all in, bro.
It's
But
the best
like,
part.
It's the best part. Like I have this tattoo, enjoy the process on my hand, and it's like, it's
I was literally thinking the same thing. I'm
the
like,
highs
man,
and the lows, but it's like it's so worth it.
I'm really grateful for this, but man, I'm pretty good about reminding myself that like someday I'm gonna look back and be like, this was the good old days.
Yeah, bro.
Like for real. Like,
Yeah.
and that's a real thing. Like even
And it could be a few months later.
for real.
Because
But
like, bro, it's funny. Like, I always just try to just manage. Like, everything's gonna change so fast. Like something that I was freaking out 2 weeks about.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, I was freaking out about it.
Yeah.
Of like, how am I gonna manage this and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Like, God, bro, it resolved itself.
it resolves itself.
I didn't do anything, bro. The problem just went away.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And I was freaking out, bro.
In the moment.
Yeah, and I'm like, I think I'm getting better at at that part of like.
That takes a lot of temperament. Like when, like there's days through this process, just full transparency, where I've been like, especially before we opened, I'm like, I'm out of money. It's over.
Yeah.
Like I ran out of money. I don't know what happened. like I don't know how we're gonna pay. Yeah. And somehow, if you just be like, okay, the world is ending, but you just be like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep and see how I feel in the morning. And then you wake up and you're like, all right, I think there's like one or two things I could try. And then somehow,
And then it
like you
works.
just make it through. Yeah. So now you kind of become conditioned to that pressure. And when they're all, dude, I felt it during the cancel culture. The first cancel, I'm like, it's over. It's over. No, it's over.
Like,
They're
all
gonna,
over.
They're gonna kill me. And I just breathe through it. Go to sleep. All right, I'm gonna go to sleep and see if we get any customers tomorrow. What do you know? I come in, customers come in. You know, so that weathering that pressure is definitely something that you have to acclimate to, because there's gonna be moments where you're like, man, it's over.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Or bro, like,
Bro, what about St. Louis? So for me, I'm an outsider, man. I came here from New York, and man, I love this city so much. I really do. Every day, you know, I run this city almost every day. Like literally run it. Like, sorry guys, I gotta explain to you guys.
Yeah.
I literally run it every day, and I said to myself the other day, man, every day I run this city, I get more and more like inspired to like want to do something good here, because I think it's amazing. It has so much potential. But you've been here your whole life.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I know that people who are born and raised in a place can sort of take it for granted. Like a lot of times I'm in the shop trying to convince people that lived here their whole life that like St. Louis is awesome. And they're like, man, I'd rather go to such and such place. So for you, is it important to you to have Biscuit Joint here, or is it? Because I know also we've talked and you have like aspirations to maybe scale it and you know, send it other places.
Yeah, definitely. I love St. Louis, bro. Like, I'm on the St. Louis proud. I love it here, bro. I really do. But I do think part of it was leaving.
Going to New York and coming back.
Going to New York, seeing what that was, and then living in Iowa.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I also grew up in Wentzville, so it's like 45 minutes from here. So, like, we had family. Actually, on Olive, my great aunt had a daycare. So we were down here a lot, right? I'd be there on the weekends. And we just spent a lot of time downtown. And I always loved it growing up. But then it was like I pretty much was out in the suburbs.
In
you know what I mean? But when I moved back home, I moved downtown. Yeah. And then a lot has changed since then, too. So, like, I've really fallen. Now that I'm, like, a part of, like, the city.
Bro, we're a part of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, we're in a city.
And, like, now that and I've, like, lived in Midtown for, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's, like, and it's ghost town, bro. Like, what it is now.
5 years ago.
Or a year ago.
Yeah.
Mike, none of this was around.
I know.
Like all of Locust.
Well, when I when I signed this lease, bro, everybody was like, "Where? You're gonna put a coffee shop right there?"
Yeah, you're like, "Yep."
Yeah, yep, sure am.
No, but I'm saying, like, bro, like the last year or two, like this whole area, like, is just
Locust
completely
is blowing up.
transformed.
Yeah.
And it's like, I very much, so like when I was in Iowa, I liked living there, honestly. And I was like, I felt like I could have opened something there and it would have been a good spot, you know, but I was just like, it didn't really excite me.
Yeah.
But and like, so I knew, like when I moved back here, I was very much moving back. Like I need to get back there and start building a name for myself so I can get into the game.
So I can do something.
Right.
So in your opinion though, like, cause when we talk about St. Louis, there's things that I could certainly highlight. Like we have amazing parks. We have one of the best food scenes that I've seen, highly underrated. But then also, like everybody always usually frames it as, man, it has so much potential. Like that, I think that's fair. I literally think it's fair. Like I think St. Louis could easily be a booming city like Austin, Texas, or Nashville or whatever. But there's things that I think need improvement. What do you think it needs in order to become like the city? Like,
well, I don't know. What's crazy is like, so it kind of boomed already. So it's kind of like Detroit, where it's like it had its time and then it kind of collapsed.
You think so? What was that, during Nelly's time?
Well, like back in the day, like if you see how the riverfront used to be, and like you should see Wash Ave, bro, had these huge Christmas ornaments, and it was like this huge thing. Like downtown was a true city, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was popping. And think about, we had the Rams.
When the Rams were there.
They were winning Super Bowls in Busch Stadium and the Blues. And it wasn't like this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's happened over time.
Yeah.
But
then I heard I've heard it was worse. Like you were saying, it was worse than this 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it seems like
it's coming back.
It seems like it's on a trajectory, a positive trajectory.
Absolutely. Where I feel like, hey, you get a soccer. Well, it's like they started spending money downtown again.
Yeah.
Because like all that stuff that was cool wasn't cool anymore.
Yeah.
And then like losing an NFL team is a big hit.
Big
you know what
hit.
I mean?
Well,
like,
it's interesting too because when they had the NFL team, was the national park built or was it not like that? Because I heard that's relatively new.
The national park,
like down by the arch.
Oh
where,
yeah, no,
that's all new, right?
Well, it's like the way it looks now
is new,
but it's like they started updating the city and like making it more, like bringing it back to what it could be. And I feel like also there's a huge stigma about the violence in St. Louis that really just threw people off. I feel like
because tourists won't come here,
right? Because they think it's like, and like, I don't know. I've never felt like there's stuff is like I've had my phone stolen, I've had my car broken into, but it's like that stuff happened when I was in New York too, and it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Like Cedar Rapids, Iowa, like that happened when I was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So it's like, I don't know.
Okay, so what what I hear as an outsider is that St. Louis is historically, it's one of the most segregated cities in America. That's what outsiders say about it. And I don't know if I've experienced that, like thinking about it now, but I kind of have, and I can see it. Like there's steakhouses, for example. If I go to Hamilton's,
right,
it's all black people in there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, bro.
And
you go to a different spot.
If I go to exactly. There's places that I know if I go, so it's either gonna be white, black, or
and there's like big like neighborhoods. It's like areas,
and there's
like
neighborhoods.
Frontenac.
Yes,
and someone's like, oh, they live in Frontenac. I'm like, oh,
and the whole, but also even what high school did you go to,
bro?
Like it's St. Louis is very cliquey.
Yes, and it is. It's definitely a cliquey where it's like, oh, like you went to that school, but I'm like, what does that mean?
But what does it mean? But I think that people, I don't know. I think that,
but at the same time, it's like I do know what it means.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean.
People really think along those lines,
but it's not right.
And for me, that's counterproductive.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like it's silly. It's silly that it's like that.
But
it's very true.
It is very true.
And it's like when you talk about people from St. Louis, like you said, what high school are you from?
Yeah.
Like, bro, that is a real thing.
Yeah.
Everyone asks it.
I mean, I've literally seen 50-year-old men in my
Yeah,
shop,
bro.
in my shop, be like, "Hey, what high school did you go to?" Like,
Yeah.
but Mike, you've been out of high school for 30 fucking years. Shut the
Bro,
fuck up.
like, bro, that high school's not even open anymore.
Nah, but when I ask, cause like, dude, people, I mean, you know, people can think what they want about me, but what they don't realize is like, I'm highly motivated to really like bring. I think if the city just, man, if you could bring people together and sort of like that's one of the things I'm talking about. Like the whole clickiness. I think that keeps St. Louis from being what it could be. You know, like it rather than like New York is a melting pot. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of clicky in the sense that like there's Chinatown and there's like
What I loved about New York is like no one gives a shit about
no one cared. You're anonymous.
Bro.
We're all just here trying
Dude,
to.
it's like I'm like sitting here and like the person next to me on the subway is like in a red thong with like devil
Yeah.
horns on, and I'm just like
on
my
your phone. Yeah, minding your own business.
And if I hear people be like,
They have something to say about it.
but I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, but I've always been like, bro, I think what it comes down to with is everybody's gotta love each other, bro, for real. And like, it's like, you know, the more in my mind, the way I've been raised, the way I just try to operate myself, I'm like, you know, the only thing I can control is how I respond to things and how I carry myself. And I'm like, if I just try to do that from a place of love at every chance that I can, that's just like what. Yeah. Because then at least from there, it's out of my hands.
It's out of my hands.
I mean?
I did what I could.
Because it's like, if I'm just respectful and I try to be, and even if I miss the mark, it's like at least my intentions were in the right area.
I do think that. I see that, like, okay, so Missouri, I think, politically is a conservative state, but St. Louis is definitely a Democratic or a liberal city, and what I've experienced, honestly, is like a lot of the people who preach like love and tolerance and all this stuff. Some of those people are the most
mean.
They're the meanest, most intolerant, divisive, hateful people.
Bro, and that's
here.
why, like, bro, I hate politics.
Because
so
I agree
much,
with
bro,
you that we need to
like,
love each other. Yeah,
bro, and I just like that's why like, I hate politics so much, dude. Because it's like, bro, we're all humans, and I think at the end of the day, like, no one's ever gonna. There's never gonna be a set of laws where everyone's like, all right, this is like the middle. Like everyone's
this is great.
Now everyone stop.
Yeah.
Now stop right here.
Yeah.
So it's like,
there's always gonna be something to argue over,
bro. Honestly, and it's like I know I have like. Back to my family, I think it has part to be like how I was raised, you know, like I grew up in a Christian home. So it's like I've always seen, and something that's always bothered me. I remember even as a kid is like, why does the world like go to shit during election time?
No, every election
it goes
cycle
to shit, bro.
But you know what? People,
and it's like,
people don't even
hate
realize it. Like people are like literally, they fall for it every time.
Year.
Every
Bro,
time,
and
every
I'm like,
4 years, there's like some sickness that breaks out. There's some event, like a George Floyd type event that divides people racially. There's always something,
and it's like, it's just like, it has always driven me nuts. And I'm like, bro, if everyone was
stop
just
falling for it.
Yeah, and just like everyone needs to just love on each other, dude, and like be more understanding and try and understand. Like,
I think the media is a big issue. Like,
well, like I don't watch the news.
Exactly,
I refuse to watch.
When you don't watch
the
news and you stay off, if you stay off of like media sourced internet, like social media that pushes news and current events. If you stay away from that stuff, then you're a little bit insulated from it. But it's so easy to get sucked into a headline. Like our media is a weapon, bro. And every election year, they're gonna use that weapon against you. And if you fall for it, well, then you're, like it's tough because human psychology. It's like it's really hard to resist it. But at the same time, it's like take some accountability. Like understand, have some self-awareness. Be like, all right, are people like this in real life? Like, that's what you have to ask yourself. Like, are people like this in real life? Because Jason Bachman, actually, he told me it's hard to hate up close. Like, it's hard to hate. That's one of the things I love about a coffee shop is when you bring people in here. If you walk in here at 10 a.m. on any day of the week, it's jamming. You're going to see gay people, straight people, white people, black people, Democrats, Republican, Joe Biden, Donald Trump. You're going to see them all in here sitting next to each other. And guess what?
doing their thing.
They're cool as fuck.
Bro,
Everybody's cool as fuck.
dude, that's like the premise of Dinner at the Loft was.
Yeah.
Like bringing 8 random people. I'm like,
Yeah.
had you not, because we don't post menus, we didn't post, like, it was first 8 people.
You don't know who the guests are going to be? Nothing.
First 8 people.
Yeah.
I'm like, send me the Venmo.
Yeah.
And then I write your name down.
Yeah.
How big your party is. So it's like, there's a group of 8 people sitting at a table I've never met, probably would have never spoken
Sitting
or
at the
bumped
same
into each
table.
other. Bro, and it's like, while like, the details of their lives never came up, I could tell there was times where they definitely came from different walks of life.
Definitely. Yeah. It's easy to see.
But what was crazy was everyone was all best friends by then.
Yeah.
And like,
Dude,
and
that's
around food. And that's what food does, bro.
It really
and
does.
It brings people, because no matter what culture you're from, no matter where you are in the world, we all need to eat. We all like good food. And it's something we can all connect on. And I'm like, that's what I love about Dinner at the Loft, and that's why it's random.
Yeah.
It's forcefully random, and I'm like, can I come by myself? I'm like, I wish you would.
That dude. Matter of fact, I'm gonna sign up.
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna sign up. Matter of fact, this is not an ad, but if you haven't done Dinner at the Loft, you need to sign up immediately.
Bro, straight up. Well, we're gonna get to it soon, bro.
Yeah.
We about to fire it back up.
So, dude, you mentioned earlier that you said when I was drinking. I think I know that you're completely sober now, right? Or at least from alcohol. You don't drink at all.
Nope.
How come? Tell me about that.
Man.
Were you a savage?
Yeah, bro. Dude, it was weird kind of how I got into drinking, right? So like I didn't drink at all in high school.
Yeah.
Didn't drink, didn't smoke, bro. Like I said, football. That's
Yeah.
it. And then,
That's crazy, man.
bro, not a lick, none of it.
That's crazy.
I didn't go to parties, none of that, bro. I was focused, and well, I guess I wouldn't even call it focus. It's just like I was cool at home. I'm kind of a homebody.
Yeah.
Like I'm a very social person, and I'd say I'm an extrovert, but I'm still like pretty laid back. Like I love my home time. I like my alone time. But when I was drinking, it started in New York, and it was really a camaraderie of the kitchen, which is something that
Shift drink, right?
Yeah, bro, and it's something that like it's so normal in kitchens for people to drink.
Yeah.
Like and do drugs and fuck this like that lifestyle, but it's like it's real. It's a real thing, and it's like what's crazy is at least in the kitchens I was working in, it wasn't like like let's get fucked up, like we just crushed it. It was literally like, yo, let's go grab a beer.
Yeah.
Like we just got crushed, and it was like a thing of camaraderie.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of then it became where I would like drink beer at home, but it's like I really was like I loved like learning about the beers and how it tasted and the different kinds and all that. Mm-hmm. And then I'd say over time I just kind of started partying more, like going out later, drinking more.
Yeah, it wasn't just one beer.
Yeah, but even then it was just like camaraderie, and it was just pretty lighthearted. I'd say when I started getting into more stressful areas of my life where all I had to do was go to work and come home. I didn't have a girlfriend. I just went to work, put all my effort into that, and then I would drink, and then I'd do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. And then whenever the stresses of my life got way deeper, that's where I fell back. And then it wasn't for camaraderie, and it was to like mask the pain of everything. You know what I mean? And there's times where it was worse, and there was times where it wasn't. But I'd say for about like 10 years, bro, I was like, I had an alcoholic drink every day of my life.
Really?
At least one, bro.
No.
Every day.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, bro. From like 20 until I stopped drinking, bro. At least a beer a day. And that was like probably more times than not, it was at least like 3 or 4 beers at least.
Wow.
Yeah. So then it was like, let me get a beer and a shot. And it's like, bro, I was like how I am right now. Like I was a functioning alcoholic, bro. It's not like I was stumbling around and stuff, but I would drink all like I was pretty much I'm like, yeah, I mean, I was either like hungover, tipsy, or drunk pretty much all the time. You know what I mean?
That is crazy.
But it was just like but like I was crushing work, bro. So I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I was crushing it. And I was always just on my shit at work. I was like excelling at my jobs. I was finding new opportunities, you know what I mean? But then it was like, then it started affecting my relationship with Scout's mom. And then that's where I guess I would really realize that I had a problem. And it was like something that it wasn't like I could just not drink a beer. It wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
You know, but even then it was like I was around her mom. I still lived at home, so it's like I couldn't drink as much because then I'd be getting caught, and you know what I mean? So it's like I would either come home later or I would get off late, and like she was sleeping, so then I'd come home, but it's like she still knows, like she knew I was drinking.
You're going to wake up with alcohol breath.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But I'd say when me and Scout's mom split and I moved out and I lived alone, that's when it was really like
really bad.
Bro, there's no one's around. You know what I mean?
No
and that's
accountability.
like, bro, and it's like then it's like falling asleep at 6 o'clock. But I'm not falling asleep. Like I'm drunk as shit at
Passing
6.
out. You're passing out.
Right. And then waking up at 11 or midnight, wide awake, being like wide awake until 4 or 5, sleeping for a few hours, you know, and that shit just like, then I got like my dream job, bro, was at Taste in Central West End.
Is that a restaurant?
It was like this cocktail bar, bro. It was my favorites, bro. It was my favorite spot to go.
Yeah.
And like whenever I was just a cook, I was like, bro, if I could be an executive chef anywhere, bro, it's Taste.
Yeah.
And I ended up being it. I got it, right? But I was not ready to be an executive chef, really. You know, like I thought I was. I wasn't. And especially managing that and then moving out and trying to co-parent and like not being a good co-parent because I'm like drunk and I was just like wasn't a good person, bro. Like I'm just drunk all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like same thing, but I'm like I crushed work, so I didn't give a shit. It's like all I cared about, which is just so dumb thinking back now, you know. But then there was a time basically so when I was at Taste, that's probably when my drinking was the worst. And that was like, dude, I was like drunk. I was drunk all the time. But it's like I said, like you couldn't really tell. But it's like then I'm just like drinking at work because it's like, which is just like, bro, like it's so fucking stupid, bro.
Yeah.
Like in front of people that I'm managing and shit.
Yeah.
Like looking back, I'm like, what a fuck, like, and I know that's part of sobriety. You go through the process of like coming to terms with all of that. And it's like, but it still kills me to this day. But long story short, I got fired, right? And then that was like a big shock. That was like a big hit because I'm like, I lost my dream. It was legit my dream job, bro.
Yeah. And
lost it. And then honestly, from there, I started drinking even worse just because I was like so upset about everything. And crazy enough, that's like when I started doing dinner at the Loft and it like took off. So it's like, then I just poured myself into that and kept drinking. But then it's like, then I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
And no one was making me work. So it's like, because I was self-employed. So then it just was worse and worse and worse. And then honest to God truth is Scout's mom got a boyfriend, right? And then I guess in my mind, like I always thought we would just like, it would like work itself out and, you know, we'd end up together or whatever. But that wasn't the case, which, but basically I came to terms. I'm like, bro, like you lost your dream job. Like your drinking had a huge impact on your relationship, which it's not like the whole story, you know, but it did. That's my part. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth of it is that's my part. Yeah. And it's like, you know, I have a D-dub. I probably should have more, honestly. Yeah. Like if I've got let off twice, you know, and there's times where I probably should have been pulled over. Mm-hmm. And like, thank God that nothing bad happened. Yeah. But it's like, these things are going to continue to happen unless you wake up, right? So then I got that news, and basically that night I was like, dude, like.
You got what news? That she got a boyfriend?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, like, holy shit. Like, you're gonna like ruin your life, bro. And like also alcoholism runs on my dad's side, and it's like I've seen it happen to my uncles and shit, and it's like it's gonna keep fucking happening unless someone like stops, you know. And my dad wasn't, so then it's like maybe if I stop, you know, and it's like
it stops there. Yeah,
maybe, you know, hopefully, but it's like I had that moment and I was like, dude, I'm gonna go get all my favorite stuff tonight, and I'm gonna get so drunk, and then I'm never drinking again. And bro, I like prayed to God that I literally had a serious prayer that I was like, this is it. Like I'm drawing my line in the sand, and I'm getting drunk tonight. When I wake up, it's done.
Yeah.
And bro, that's what happened.
Never drank again.
Haven't drank it.
How long you been sober?
It's like 550 days, somewhere around there.
That's awesome,
like a year and a half.
That's really, really cool, man.
Yeah, bro. But it's also helped. My dad was getting sober at the same time, so that helps.
Probably easy. Yeah, to have an accountability partner, but also to have somebody that understands and is a teammate.
But what's crazy, so he stopped like 3 weeks before me, and I didn't even know.
Got it.
He didn't tell me, and then I stopped, and then we were both like found out. We're like, oh, dope.
Oh yeah, I'm on the same path. You know what's so crazy,
but
man?
It changed everything.
Well, I want to ask you about that, but it sounds like so at the lowest, one of the lowest moments for me was in, you know, prison, realizing that like I could throw my life away right now. Like the way I explain it to people is realizing how insignificant I am, right? So like I feel like we all grow up and we have this inflated sense of self-importance and this inflated sense of entitlement. Like one, like the world owes us something, and two, like we deserve it, you know? And neither thing is true, right? You don't deserve shit, and the world also doesn't owe you anything. And so one of my lowest moments was realizing that I could literally throw my whole life away and nobody would blink an eye. Like the world wouldn't stop moving. My family would still have Christmas dinner. They still meet for Thanksgiving. My ex-girlfriend would just get a new boyfriend. My employer would just hire a new person. Even my fucking dog would just go live somewhere else. And that motherfucker, I could literally throw my whole life away and nobody would blink an eye. Like, sure, maybe for the first couple months somebody would miss me or something, but at the end of the day, the world is going to keep on spinning, whether I throw my life away or whether I take advantage of the opportunity I have. And that was like a real big, realizing how insignificant I was actually liberated me so much, you know, and it grounded me in a way that made me be like, all right, let me take advantage of the opportunity, right? So it completely changed me. But it sounds like for you is very similar. Like, man, yo, like Taste is still going. My ex-girl now has a new boyfriend. Like all these things. Like, and you're just sitting here drinking. Like, all right, I'm about to throw my life. Bro. Yeah, feeling bad. I'm about to throw my life away, and nobody's gonna blink an eye.
Bro, and I'm just like,
and nobody can save you either.
Bro,
nobody can
I
save
said
you.
That earlier, bro. It's like, bro, it's like being honest with yourself. Like every fucking problem I had, it's my fucking fault.
I made those problems.
Bro,
that's why I have the quit line. You need to have a quit line to yourself t-shirt. You really
fault.
do.
And I'm like, or you could just like not drink at work. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. How about that? You ever think about not drinking while you're there,
bro? But though, and then in the same breath, I think it's cool because it's like a lot came like.
Yeah, you needed it.
I needed that. Like everything happens for a reason, and I feel like God has these things happen. He's teaching you stuff. Like because I was so sure that I was ready to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
But I was like, let me just be an executive chef somewhere.
Yeah.
Like being cocky as shit, got fucking fired because I couldn't handle it, and that's humbling. That's the truth.
Yeah.
It's like. Even like saying that to myself, like I'm like getting to a point where I'm not gonna feel bad for myself and be like, that's what happened.
That's
bro.
what happened.
And that's the blunt ass truth.
That's what
happened. Is you weren't ready and that shit got you, boy.
Yeah.
And like that's a humbling shit. And it's like, but then what are you gonna do from there?
Gotta bounce back.
Are you gonna respond? Or are you gonna like let that be your story?
Yeah. But that's really it. That's really is. Are you going to respond? You ever heard that quote that's like, you ask for strength, So God gave you struggles. Like you asked for patience, and
Yeah.
so God gave like
What was that guy, dude? There's this pastor, it's TD Jakes, bro. He said, like, you want God to give you chairs, and He gave you trees to make a chair.
Yeah, we
and
build
it's
that.
like,
Yeah.
and it's like,
That's the truth.
yeah, and it's like you gotta. It's humbling, bro. It's just like, it's such a process of like going through it and thinking about the things you've done and said and.
Bro, all the worst things that ever happened to me have been the best things that ever happened to me.
Oh yeah, bro.
I'm dead
If
ass,
you need
and
it.
I'm sure of it. Like I'm absolutely sure. Like I mean, down to every single one. Like I've done so much reflecting now and so much journaling and so much internal like just working through that stuff that like I can actually articulate the things that came from this experience.
Right.
The things that, and it's like, man,
See,
I
and,
wouldn't
like,
be me without it.
See, bro, and that's why I messaged you about journaling recently, because I'm like,
Oh, it's so good.
wow, like obviously I've started to do it.
Yeah.
I do it all up here. Like
Yeah.
I need to like write it down.
No, you have to write it down. And then, like, literally, you might end up, like, for me, I write them down. I fill journals, and then I just throw them away. Literally.
You're
Never look at it
you're
again.
like,
It doesn't
great.
matter. But I needed to fill it out. I needed to write it down.
Yeah.
I only keep one journal. And the journal I keep is it was the last one I filled up before I went home from prison. So, like,
Yeah,
even this.
That's like a reminder.
Bro. That's when I was
But
at my
it's like
peak.
I love
of
the like a no turning back moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what says like burn the boats.
Yeah, burn the ships. But,
Bro, because there's no like, bro, we're not going back.
no,
Right?
never go back.
And it's like, people are like, you think you'll drink someday? Like, bro, I would love an old fashioned, bro.
That
and
is
I
not
will
what I
tell,
expected you to say.
bro, and I'll tell everyone that, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like, I am fully aware of what,
What will happen?
yeah, bro.
yeah.
And it's not worth it,
It's
bro.
not worth it, yeah.
Bro, but like,
So you said, man,
but I'm also a sober chef is hard.
yeah, I know.
Cause like, I'm like, I've gotten to the point where I switch it and I spit it out
Really?
because I want to like know what I'm tasting.
Yeah.
Like, or what they're tasting when they're
Oh,
eating.
got it.
So I just swish it and spit it out. It takes some self-control, but
But you said, okay, dude, that's so funny. I used to have a client who, because I owned a gym, and they would come to me. I specialized in like weight loss women. So I'd have these women come to me. I had a client that was like 100 pounds overweight. Her job was taste testing ice cream at an ice cream facility. So I'm like working with this chick. She doesn't tell me for like 3 months
You're like, what
that
do you
this is her
expect?
job. I'm like, here's the diet, here's the workouts. I'm thinking my shit don't work no more. I'm like, I'm seeing,
hold up.
I'm seeing so much success with everybody, and I get this girl. I can't help her lose weight. I'm like, what's going on?
she's
And
like,
then
eat
I
ice cream
found out
every
like
day.
three months in, like, oh yeah, that's my job. I do say, and I'm like, you didn't think that was relevant to yo? What the fuck?
You were ruining
But
like, you were ruining my my
yeah,
worth.
my reputation. Like everybody thinks I can help. But talk about self-discipline. But no, you said that your life is so much better now. You know, being sober. Like, what's some of the things that improved? Because me, I'm a huge opponent of alcohol. I think it's net positive or net negative for society. Like for real.
Bro, I feel like I'm a way better dad for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, I was like, there's times I would put priority over like going out, or like when I was with her, I'd be hungover.
Yeah.
So like on that aspect, like I'm way more present.
Yeah.
And not even just like in the time I'm like how much time I have her, but I'm more present when we're like together.
Yeah.
I have like way better control of like my emotions, and like, man, if I drank, none of it would be here.
Yeah.
Or if I started drinking
'Cause you're
again, it
emotionally
would be
volatile.
gone,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Well, that's
'cause
the
it's
thing.
just
But
like,
when you're in it,
in every level, bro, literally, I'd say I got my faith with God got way stronger because I was like opening up time to that. That was also a big thing. Like, I just like started going to church every Sunday since I stopped drinking.
yeah.
And it's like, bro, I'm literally on every single level of my life.
Yeah.
Besides like less fun. But it's like, it was bullshit ass
Fuck those
fun.
people.
It was bullshit,
Yeah.
fake fun anyways.
Well, when because I've been like deep in the grips of addiction. Like for me, honestly, I hate to admit it, but cannabis is like a fucking kryptonite for me. It really is. And I love it. And love it, but but I can't. And I tell myself, and I believe it that like I'm like when I'm on it, when I'm using cannabis every day, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm. It doesn't affect me. Like I believe it. I believe it. But really, it affects my relationship. It affects my productivity. It affects it affects everything. My drive, my discipline, like everything. Like I don't go to the gym. I'll take days off. Like it affects every area of my life. But while I'm using it, I would be dead serious and be like, nah, I'm good. It doesn't affect me at all.
So that's the thing is like for me, it used to be something in my life that, like, bro, I'd smoke like 2-3 blunts before work, you know, right? And I'm like, which is just dumb.
It's excessive.
It's excessive as fuck, bro. Like, why? Yeah. But I was young, I was stupid, you know what I mean? And like, I don't smoke like that anymore. Like, luckily, like, especially with cannabis, like dispensaries, like maybe I'll do like a little oil in the morning, or I'll eat an edible, or I have a pen. Yeah. But it's like I hit it once. Yeah. And it's like, it really helps me a lot. But then there's times that came over time, but the majority of the time that I've smoked, it wasn't that way. Yeah. But also since I've stopped drinking, I've been able to like use it in a more, like before it's like I'm trying to get rid of my hangover.
Yeah. So you're just smoking.
Then I'm just stoned with a hangover. So then it's like, like what? Like it's so dumb, bro.
Yo, the way we think when we're
so dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. So, but now it's like if I'm like just hit it once, like because there's times where I can get a little like I'm very
like uptight.
Yeah, I'm very passionate, and there's times I'm very like just with everything. Yeah. Or I'll be like looking around the room, and it does definitely help me like
chill.
Like, whew, yeah.
I think what I'm getting at is like I'm actually, I don't even know how far I am. I'm over a month in, though. I made a commitment on my birthday to do a year sober, like completely sober. And so no cannabis, no alcohol, no nothing. And I'm really loving it. And, you know, I was inspired to do it by my buddy Jack, actually, who produces the show. He said he did a year with no alcohol, and it was like 10x his fucking life. Yeah. You know, so I was like, oh, that's cool, man. I haven't been sober for a whole year since I was like 15. So I'm like, let me try. But I feel amazing. And now I'm like, every day I get more and more confident that like, if you really want to do something, and it affects everybody different, but like rolling the dice and trying to nurse like a bad habit, like whether it's cannabis, alcohol, or anything, it's like an unnecessary risk, you know, like, especially if you don't know, like if you don't, because before when I smoked weed almost every day for like 15 years. And for so long that I didn't know if I would be any better not smoking weed. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, to the young people out listening, like, if you don't know and you think that you could just nurse a weed habit or an alcohol habit and still compete with a motherfucker like me or like you when we're sober,
it's like if you're dialed in,
bro, it's really tough. It's really that's a risky gamble, and it could cost you everything. Like if you were still drinking, you wouldn't have Biscuit Joint.
Bro, no way.
It wouldn't have it.
And I'd have no driver's license. Yeah, or I'd be who knows?
A degenerate.
Bro,
yeah.
Straight up. And it's like there's a like a level of like you ever hear people's like there's levels of this. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like I realize that now, or like after losing the taste job. Yeah. And I'm like, you think because you like put up some badass specials that
you're an executive chef.
There's levels to this, bro. And I like got humbled for real. Yeah. Like that's the honest truth. Yeah. But it's like I'm so happy it happened.
Yeah. So what's like, all right, so what's the big vision though for Biscuit Joint? Like truly I think it's a gem here in Midtown. I'm so pumped that it's on the same block that Omen's on. You know, I mean I could easily see it just booming here, but I know that's not the end of your ambitions. What do you think you're gonna do with it?
I definitely want it to grow. You know, I definitely see a few more spots. Yeah. I would love to get it to a spot where we could go like wholesale and sell some like biscuits in stores. Like that would be really cool.
Rather than franchising or in addition to, or
I don't know. See,
I don't like the idea of franchising.
You don't like?
No, because it loses authenticity. I mean, it's very hard to scale culture.
And that's how I feel. And it's like, I think I was saying it would be I'd much rather open another small spot that was like another its own little idea,
A different business model.
yeah, and have like a few different ones.
Yeah.
While I would definitely would like to have like 2 or 3
Yeah.
biscuit joints.
Like Menuray.
Yeah,
Bro,
it's so good.
bro, they crush.
Bro, like, but it's a vibe.
I know.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I want.
I
That's
love
like when
that.
people come in there and like I see someone like chewing a biscuit and they're like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Some
bro,
Jada Kiss or
I'm
something?
like, that's
Yeah.
bro, yes, Mike, that's exactly what this is about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely want, but like at the same point, like I know if I put that in certain parts, in certain areas, it wouldn't be received
Wouldn't
the way
hit.
it's received here, or the way it might be received in like South City or something. Because like we all get it down here, but like we got an interview or a review about our music once, but
A bad review?
yeah, because like there was cuss words. It was like wasn't edited, but I'm like, you've been in there. It's like it's not vulgar.
Yeah.
like it's not like
Man, these reviews drive me crazy, man.
yeah.
People-
But I mean,
Yeah.
So I know I definitely want it to grow, but I want to grow Dinner at the Loft too. Like
Really?
that's definitely not something that's
Putting on the back burner.
no, definitely not. It's
Yeah.
just like we're getting things lined up,
Yeah.
but like very much like while I want Biscuit, like Dinner at the Loft's my baby.
Yeah.
Like and same with Jordy and Brandon.
Yeah.
Like we did that shit together and it was on a whim and we built it and we got like 6,000 followers and I'm like
I know, that's fire.
that's dope. And it's also like that is my creative outlet. Like I said earlier, like while I don't care to cook that food all the time,
Yeah.
it is my creative outlet. So it's like I love writing menus. I love but I like the whole scale of it, like talking to people,
Several
creating
courses,
the menu.
going into somebody's home.
Yeah, like all of it.
Yeah,
It's the whole thing. And like
Cocktails.
I love
the
it, bro.
appetizers, every course. Yeah.
Bro, I love it.
Setting the tone with
But
the
it's
music.
like
yeah.
I enjoy that I can do it on my terms and
Yeah.
like when it makes sense with our schedule, so we're not like overspending ourselves. And
Who's the people you really like? Do you like doing corporate parties or do you like doing private parties better?
I like you mean private as far as like
'cause
at homes?
Yeah.
Bro, I love going to people's homes.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
It's so fun and it's like it's cool seeing like the dynamics of different families and it's also we're never rushing them. Like we're very much like trying to let them eat it all up and like creating that experience for people is so special. Like we've literally made people cry multiple times.
Really?
Like we're doing something. It's like it makes us feel good. Like we're doing like they're never gonna forget this.
Yeah.
And we're the only people that could have done it on this night.
Yeah.
And like
That's incredible. That's the
it's
type
like a
of
moment,
Yeah, that's the type of stuff when I hear you talk about it, it's like so clear that you just love what you do, man.
Bro.
It's fire.
and I'm like, bro, that's why it's like, like I get what you mean. It's just I am so passionate, but it's like it's not even about the food. Like it's just food and drinks.
It's the experience. Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
But it's like
Yeah.
it's
I think
so
I think
cool.
if you don't feel that way about what you do, you're doing the wrong thing, man.
Bro, I couldn't agree more.
You're doing the wrong thing. Yeah. Well, dude, the last question I got, what's your favorite place to eat in St. Louis?
Ooh. Well, definitely, if there's 2 spots, it would definitely be Louis and then Menu Rui for sure.
Ah, I knew it, bro. I swear, that's
Dude, that
so crazy.
place blows my mind.
Yeah, both of them, and they're completely different. They're completely different concepts.
Both of them.
But Menuray, dude, it reminds me of home so much. Like it's
It
a New York restaurant.
It is so bomb.
It is a New York restaurant.
Bro,
And
the
then-
brothless, the Tantaman brothless
Yeah.
is crazy, dude. It's crazy. I mean, like, and I'm like such an audible eater.
Yeah.
Like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Bro, and no, but not even that. I'll be like, bro. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. I'm probably annoying people, but
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
Bro, that's fine. Okay, yeah. So if you live in St. Louis and you haven't been to Louis or Menuray, you just have to. But Menuray, be careful because it's freezing out right now.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to wait outside. You're gonna have to.
Unless, if you go outside, you might be the only one there.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so
That's true. That's true. But if you get there early, if you get there right when they open,
That's
or you
the
get
time
there,
to go.
or you get there late, if you go there right before they close, you'll also probably be able to
Sneak
get in
it
without a line. Yeah. But man,
Bro, but when the weather's warm, it's worth the line.
when the weather's
Just
warm,
wait in line.
you're literally waiting in line. Like
Wait
you
in
pull
line.
in the parking lot and you see a line down the block and around the
For a
corner.
reason.
Yo, it's crazy and it's for a reason. Yeah.
Bro, and it's also, I love that the people that go there understand that. Like, if you notice, everyone crushes their food and leaves.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's like,
yeah. They're not holding up. They
no one's like
understand there's
kicking
people
it.
waiting for a
Yeah,
seat.
like, yo,
Yeah.
get in, order your noodles, eat your
Man.
noodles, get out.
That's really cool. I can't wait to see you do some stuff like that because I know you're going to. Like the micro concept, I love the micro concept. Like I don't know if you saw, I walked in there with somebody the other day and I was just, because I was talking about it before and we walked past and he's like, do you mind if we pop in there? I'm like, nah, go ahead. And he walked out. He's like, man, that's pretty cool concept right there. Yeah.
Well, dude, like, bro, when dinner at the loft goes, like, it'll be like, yo, Friday night, we're serving Philly cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
And we're just going to, like, post on our Instagram and be like ideally.
Oh, you mean here?
Yeah, bro. Because
Yeah.
like when there's shows or if there's soccer games or whatever.
Bro, that's such a great
like
idea.
when the Hawthorne gets out, I'm like, yo, pull up and get a sandwich.
Yeah, and
because where else in Midtown are you gonna go?
in the soccer games, bro, you got to capitalize on soccer.
Bro, when people are parking, I'm like,
Yeah.
here's a sandwich while you walk.
Oh,
I see you after the game. Come
Man,
get
you
another one.
Talking about sandwich, I'm hungry, man.
Bro, I'm starving.
I just ran 6 miles before this.
Bro.
Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely, bro.
For real, man. I'm honestly, I'm so glad that you ended up next door. Like I knew that inevitably there would be more businesses come on this block, but like young dude, you're just as passionate, if not more, than I am. Like
I feel like that's what made us click. Is like,
bro.
Especially in the beginning, is like every night I'm like,
bro, I know, and we got to spend so much time together, but also like there's just this respect. Cause I know what it takes, and I've seen you put it in the work. Like and truthfully, like, you know, I was like a little bit ahead of the curve. Like we both had like our apprenticeship. Like I worked for 30 grand for, you know, years and worked my ass off and, you know, all this stuff. And I earned the opportunity just like you did. I think that you earned the opportunity through your life experience and through everything that you were willing to do. You ate shit for years just to get to where you're at, so there's like sometimes, you know, like what I was referencing earlier, like the entrepreneur that, you know, that comes and asks me for advice, but I know that you didn't earn the opportunity. It kind of like rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
But there is instant mutual respect because I'm like, yo, son earned it. Parents are killers. I know he's serious, you know, and then the work ethic. So I'm really grateful that you're here. I think it's been a really cool dynamic. It's been really cool being able to like, you know, support you as you get off the ground. But then also you've undoubtedly given us an opportunity with a lot of customers that probably would have never came in here if it wasn't for them stopping by Biscuit Joint. So the dynamic is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a really cool partnership.
It really is. And
it's cool. Like people are like, are you the same business? I'm like, we're just neighbors.
Yeah, we just chill.
And they're like, that's it.
I know,
because
because we'll be over here and we'll be like, yo, you gotta go next door.
Yeah.
You gotta try. You haven't tried a sandwich. You gotta go get a goat.
And
Oh,
I'm
by
like,
the way, if you haven't tried Biscuit Joint, you need to get the goat. All right, try the goat first.
The goat slaps.
Yeah, it slaps.
Hey, if you ain't had to see him a special,
And if you ain't had to see a special,
Bro.
change your motherfucking life.
bro, one a day keeps a doctor away.
Nah, but dude, I'm glad you came, and you know this is only just the beginning. I know it's gonna be. I have no plans on moving anywhere else, so we're gonna be here for a little bit. But thank you, brother.
We're gonna be kicking it. Yeah, for real, bro. I appreciate you having me.